DC has made some amazing animated movies these last few years, and recently, superhero movies and shows have taken over mainstream media. But the animated movies also have some amazing stories, and some aren't as great. Take Batman Bad Blood for example. It's loosely inspired by Grant Morrison's 2009 Batman and Robin series, and Batman Bad Blood resonates as an extended pilot for a TV show focused on Batman's lieutenants. Now, this movie is good, but Batman Bad Blood is the last Bat-centric installment in the DC animated universe, until the third-to-last movie in the franchise, Batman Hush. The first 8 entries in the DC AMU devoted a lot of time to introducing new characters. Roughly 35% of the series is devoted to origin stories. Now, Bad Blood does offer a good enough source of Gotham intrigue and action, but it's also one of the worst examples of cultivating the audience's investment in crime fighters, most of whom are barely even seen again. Now, the next movie on the list is going to have to be Justice League vs. Teen Titans. Thanks to the massive success of Cartoon Network's Teen Titans series, it spun off into its grown-up counterpart, Young Justice, and the brilliant kid-friendly show Teen Titans Go. Now, you're probably wondering what else they could do with animated Teen Titans. Well, Damian Wayne could join the team and start dating Raven, and stab Trigon that possessed Superman with a kryptonite knife. Damian isn't really in any of the Teen Titans shows and only shows up in Young Justice in Season 4, and then he's just a baby. But the DC AMU really hoped that the audience would embrace the idea of Damian being the main protagonist. However, they also knew not everyone is gonna be extremely pleased about that. So how big of a halfwit do you think Damian is? In this movie, Damian is an even bigger idiot than he was in the 3 Gotham-centric DC AMU installments. Luckily, Justice League vs. Teen Titans has enough innovative action scenes. In particular, the scenes where Superman manually deprograms the Flash and Wonder Woman from Trigon's mind control.
I am Diana of Themyscira!
It's okay.
This is what really made the movie stand out from the rest of the movies in the DC AMU pack. But unlike Justice League vs. Teen Titans The Judas Contract didn't feel like a Damian Wayne movie featuring Teen Titans. This 2017 movie benefited from looser restrictions. The story is about life and death, with treachery being the end-all be-all for many characters. So it was more natural and realistic when we heard the characters swear every once in a while. In the movie, Brother Blood recruits Deathstroke to help him kidnap the Titans, all in an attempt to drain their powers. Deathstroke in turn decides to groom Terra, the meta-human dirt controller, in betraying the team on his behalf. The movie spreads out its time evenly between the characters and really lets you connect to them. We also had noteworthy performances from Christina Ricci as Terra and Miguel Ferrer as Deathstroke. But one amazing animated movie is Batman vs. Robin. Now, Batman vs. Robin is a sequel to Son of Batman, but the movie isn't memorable because of the heroes. The real stars of the show were the villains. The Joker, Catwoman, and Two-Face all take a seat and let a bunch of new heavies take over the job of making the 2 heroes' lives terrible. Early in the movie, Robin meets the Dollmaker, a scary and unsettling villain that to this day is one of the coolest villains in the DC AMU. In this movie, we also meet for the first time the Court of Owls. The film constantly kept you intrigued, and it's no wonder fans loved the movie so much. However, there is a movie that we all loved just a little bit more, and that is Justice League War, a fairly straightforward timeline launcher. 2014's Justice League War brings the group together to fend off Darkseid and his invading forces. They also tossed in a cyborg origin story in the movie. Yes, the movie does make the mistake of repeating a few events that we already saw in the DCAU, but the movie is still gripping and intriguing enough that die-hard fans should give it a watch. watch. They add fresh enough spins while cramming a lot of interesting stories into only 90 minutes. However, most of the ideas that are introduced in the film are fleshed out somewhere else in one of the other 15 DCAMU installments. And in this movie, we see one of the best scenes ever. Wonder Woman leaves Themyscira to take on a man's world, but here she also tries ice cream for the first time. It gave a sense of triumph that we usually only see after a long battle. It might feel pretty out of the mix for this genre, but it was a great addition and one of the most noteworthy parts in the movie. One movie, however, is one of the most important movies in the entirety of the DCAU, and maybe even the DCU. The death of Superman is probably one of the most important, famous, and frequently adapted Superman stories. So we all know that the death of Superman is not universally loved, but it did provide a basis for one of DCAMU's biggest successes. Overall, the DCAMU series is grim and quite dark, but the creative team knew that this doesn't mean that they have to make Superman distant, cold, and detached. Rather, during the showdown with a Hulk knockoff with bones sticking out, also known as Doomsday, Clark suspends the battle whenever civilians need help, something 2013's Man of Steel didn't seem to care too much about. We all know that the DCAMU doesn't always hit the mark when it comes to its movies, but at least the 2018 movie showed that even when Superman is surrounded by negativity, he can still be your friendly neighborhood superhero who wants to help folks out. The death of Superman was amazing, yes, but one of, if not the best DC animated movie is Justice League: The Flashpoint Paradox. And it would seem as if the DCAMU got it right on the first try. So in order to justify its existence, the series had to distance itself from the DCAU as soon as it could. Its first movie had to establish a bold, distinctive tone. It also had to make sure that the story was gripping enough that people would watch it after the end of Justice League Unlimited. The Flashpoint Paradox was the way to go. In the movie, the Flash remixes the timeline in a misguided attempt to stop his mother from being murdered. And in this movie, we see a colder, more vicious version of the Justice League. But its location in an alternate universe did make the iterations of a homicidal Wonder Woman, Aquaman, and well, a type of Batman easier to swallow. The Flashpoint Paradox doesn't show us excessive violence, enhances the authenticity of these characters. Instead, it shows us how these characters would have been if reality went really wrong. This is probably one of the best movies in the DCAMU, and fans all around the world would easily agree, even if Justice League Dark Apocalypse War is a close second. But many fans didn't enjoy seeing all their favorite characters die horribly. The movie, however, was amazing, and didn't just mindlessly kill off so many beloved characters. It tied up loose storylines and had a great ending, while keeping a sense of humor, believe it or not. After Darkseid and his Legion wiped out most of the Justice League, Constantine, Raven Etrigan, and Superman all try to salvage what remains of Earth and humanity. This was a great way of ending the DCAMU, even if many fans don't agree. But what do you think? Was this a brave and bold move from DC? And was it the right call? Let me know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.